football tradition. I'm Bill Dolman. 32 chapters have been written into the Nebraska Shrine Bowl history books, and today, number 33 will go in as we open Memorial.
And Tony Veland on the north side, and Lester Johnson, Jason Kay.
The third member of our broadcast.
Back to you, Bill.
Well, the pregame activities are drawing to a close here at Memorial Stadium, and it is a very comfortable afternoon here in Lincoln. A lot of things going on when they introduced the two teams, and several of the Shriners here in attendance and honor past and present members of the various Shrine clubs here in Lincoln. The two teams meeting, that in the red right there is the North squad, and the South team retreats to its bench on the east side of the stands.
Bill, you know, this is the first year, I believe, at least in my memory, since we've been doing this football game, that one of the players really has a direct connection with one of the people up in the Minnesota hospital, the hospital in Minneapolis, I should say. Jason Bartlett out of Chadron. He'll be headed to Wyoming this fall. But Jason Bartlett has a niece who has been helped directly by the Shriners at the hospital in Minneapolis, his niece, Nicole Cummings. So I tell you what, this game not only takes on a lot of meaning for the ball players in terms of maybe some potential what they can do, but boy, I tell you what, there's a great meaning right there.
These are the men who are in charge of today's 33rd Shrine Bowl. The referee is Stan Campbell. The umpire, Tim Johnson. The linesman is Dave Ullman. The line judge is Randy Dill. And the back judge, Dan Gould. The weather conditions in Lincoln are ideal for August. 75 degrees. The skies are cloudy. We had an afternoon shower here earlier that really cooled things off and made the field in excellent condition. The wind out of the north, not really a factor. And the humidity, despite the rain, is comfortable at 54%. So it should be a good afternoon for football all around.
Yeah, usually we're looking at 130 on the field. You could fry some eggs at the 50 if you're lucky. But today it's just a great day for football. Guys will enjoy it. Shouldn't be a problem with any type of overheating or heat stress or that sort of thing, Bill. And we're about ready to set it up here.
The South team won the toss. They elected to receive. Back deep is Jeremy Gardner, number 81. And
I think it's Tom Steer, the other deep back, Bill.
Darrell Wynn, number 23. 81 and 23. Check that, 21. That is Tom Steer.
Yeah.
Steer and Wynn back deep to receive. Brian Rue of Creighton Prep will kick things off. Joe Vocek talked to us before the contest and said one area he wants to dominate in is the kicking game. And that is why he selected Brian Rue.
Brian Rue, great kicker for Creighton Prep for the last 3 years. Remember in 1989, he kicked the winning field goal last couple of seconds to win the state championship for Creighton Prep. But Joe Vocek, as Bill mentioned, it really does place an emphasis on the kicking game. He's probably one of the few coaches that we've talked to over the years in the Shrine Bowl program that really does indeed practice that kicking game a lot. We'll see if that pays off here today.
Steer and Wynn back deep. Steer to the top of the screen. He is out of Crete. Darrell Wynn out of Boys Town. And we're set to go. Rue's kickoff from the 40. Heading deep, it'll be Wynn into the end zone and a touchback. One of the rules in high school football in the state of Nebraska is that when the ball on the kickoff goes into the end zone, it is an automatic touchback, and that is one of the problems that the North team had in practice, was the fact that he was continually booming them into the end zone.
See the backs and receivers for the South squad. Cluster Johnson, all everything at quarterback. Adam Schultz, Wynn, Gardner, Johnson, and Reggie Ball, the ever dangerous Reggie Ball, had split in. Neil Anthony, Ott, Hood, Cuevas, and Peterson up front.
Johnson, the quarterback, out of the eye. And they're going to open it up early. There's a penalty flag on the play. Anthony is beat. Johnson scrambling around. And his pass nearly picked off.
Well, Gene Hunting did it. We talked to him about opening up with a pass play, and he did it. We're going to have a little flag on it, so it's going to come back like maybe a holding call, procedure call. There's the defensive line for the North. Casey Lunn, McManus, Hawley, Reese, and Atkinson, a middle linebacker, big hitter right there. North squad backs and linebackers, Horacek, Ehlers, Zoner, Gilchrist, Eisenhower, and Phil Ellis, one of the outside linebackers, headed to University of Nebraska. Phil, one of the most highly recruited football players in the state this year.
That was Britt Ehlers that broke up the pass. The referee, Stan Campbell, was talking to Clester Johnson, and now it goes over to talk to Phil Ellis. So just what the call is going to be, it is against the East, or rather the North. We're still back in Scotts Bluff. 5-yard procedure penalty. It'll be 1st down and 5 now. Ball split wide right. This time they'll run it. It's Darrell Wynn. Needs to get to the 31st down and more after the 34. Sean Mitchell of Creighton Prep made the tackle.
Great block up front that time by Mike Cuevas. He allowed Wynn to make some yardage to the outside. That's number 57 from Omaha Gross. Probably see him a little bit at linebacker too.
Good size along that offensive front. Heath Peterson 230, Cuevas 230, Hood the center at 245, Ott checked in at 250. He was listed at 225, and Neil Anthony at 240. The pitch to Wynn across the 35. He has nowhere to go. May have picked up 2.
It's one of the things Gene Hunting talked about in our discussions with him of running that option play. Clester Johnson, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the all-everything quarterback headed to Nebraska this fall. Clester very good at scrambling, picking up yardage, throwing the football. 1,326 yards passing last fall, but he didn't run the option that much, but he picked it up very quickly in camp. See a lot more of that today.
2nd down and 6. They'll go to the air again. It's to Ball. Nice catch by Ball. Should have enough yardage for the 1st down. He needed to get to the 45.
I think his forward progress just got to the 45, Bill. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to move it.
Lamont Gilchrist was the one who made the stop, but it is enough for the 1st down, and the South with a mini drive going here early. 10:51 to play. 1st quarter, we're scoreless on the opening drive.
So that quick drop by Clester Johnson, the 3-step drop, usually that happens. He sets up. It's going to be the quick pop pass to the outside.
Schultz is the fullback. He takes the handoff, stumbles his way to the 50-yard line. It'll be 2nd down.
One thing, Bill, we had to mention at the top of the show is that the defense is a 4-3 defense. It's a defense that's required by each of the teams. You can't run anything other than the 4-3. No blitzing, stunning, or slanting by the linebackers. No slanting by the defensive line either. It's a straight-up type of defense, so you know exactly what you're faced with on offense.
2nd down 6. Again to Schultz. Again nowhere to go. He'll pick up 2. It'll be 3rd down. And I know how painful that was for you to talk about no blitzing by the linebackers.
Yeah, it's like playing football with your hands behind your back. You know, just come over here and block me, please. But, yeah, you'd like to see a little bit of that. But in an all-star game, if you have too much of that, then you have a problem. And it's tough to get the offense in, as Gene said. You know, we worked a couple of weeks to get it in. Finally got it in yesterday. But we'll talk a little bit about maybe going to the 5-2 defense as the game progresses here this afternoon.
Running the draw to Win. He ran into his own blocker and then drugged down from behind.
I think that was that 70 or 38?
38
from
in
the
on
north.
the
Yeah.
stop.
John Atkinson. See it right here, a spread draw. And I believe it's Atkinson that reads it. Well, who was it that got the first hand on him? I think that was number 70, Bill.
Well, actually, that was Adam Schultz, the fullback, who was stood straight up on the block and that knocked Wynn down.
Eric Knudsen out of Elkhorn, 6'1", 215, I believe, is the first North player that got his hands on the ball carrier, slowed him down.
The first punt of the game on 4th and 5 is away. Clay Kluver, the punter, and his kick goes out of bounds at the 24-yard line, and that's where the North will take over on down.
That was Clay Kluver from Clay Center in Clay County, folks. We're talking in Triple Clay today. There you see the backs and receivers from the North side. Tony Veland will lead the charges. Langley, Rose, Gregert, Brett Hagedorn at a tight end, and Jeremy Buckner at a split end. So that's the backs and receivers for the North team. Offensively in the line, Bartlett, Brueggemann, Anderson, Childs, and Klotz up front. Big hitters up there, and that's a good size, too. We talked to They open about the size of Maryland Eye now. Triple set.
They give it to Rose. They'll run it on the first play, and Rose slashes his way to the 30. Terrell Rose out of Millard North. 5'10", 165 pounds, all Metro there.
Let's set the South squad defense. Darrell Morrow, Greg Roll, Tony Randoni, big tackle. Ron Elbers and Tom Cornish, a really big hitter at middle linebacker. Backs and linebackers, Cool, Young, Lunenborg, Jackson, Skinner, and Bender in the secondary and linebackers.
Second down, 5 from the 30. Phelan dropping back, trying to get Bruckner. Bruckner came back to get it across the 40. Fumbled the ball. A whole lot of white jerseys around it, and the South will take over.
Terrence Jackson on the coverage. He was beaten. He didn't know where the football was, but that looks like number 51 for the South. Brandon Bender comes up with a fumble. We're going to see it right here. Phelan on the long throw down the left side. It's a bit underthrown. You see Jackson was beat there. He didn't have an idea where the ball was, but now the ball is stripped away by number 19, Terrence Jackson. And now the South has another shot at it.
First down and 10 from the 35. 8 minutes to play here in quarter number 1. Cluster Johnson is the quarterback. They'll go to the air again. This time they'll scramble out of the pocket and pick up 3. Getting back to that fumble, Jeremy Buckner of Grand Island just quite simply has a lot of speed. And part of the problem was he beat the secondary but gave the defense to him to come back and make the play.
Brad Zatko that time out of Lakeview. They hit on Cluster Johnson. Boy, it was a big hit. Zatko not all that big, 5'11", 197. But he put a major league pop on Cluster Johnson.
Pitch back to the I-back Tom Steer. Across the 45, Ehlers drags him out of bounds at the 50.
Good piece of ball handling that time by Tom Steer out of Crete, Nebraska. He got the pitch and then put the ball in the opposite arm, so he had the other arm. Watch it right here. Now watch him change the ball from the inside to the outside. He's going to cut up. Now he's going to make the change, so now he can protect the football and try to use that arm on potential tacklers, but now he's ridden out of bounds by number 12, Britt Ehlers. Nice piece of running by Steer.
Credit his fullback Adam Schultz out of Kearney with a super block to spring him ahead for the first down. To the air, Reggie Ball, nice grab in the flat. A pickup of 6.
Just what Joe Vocek, head coach of the North, was worried about, and that's Reggie Ball. Great speed out of Papillion. All-state football player, all-state soccer player. He'll be headed to Colorado State on a full ride this fall. But Reggie Ball right there, number 83, he can get it done in a lot of ways. He's a threat to break it every time. You got to be very, very careful with Reggie Ball.
Caught 36 passes last season for 812 yards and 12 touchdowns. Johnson running the option now. He'll take it himself. Good penetration from the defensive end spot and the cornerback Mike Horacek.
Tell you what, there's a good job done, I believe, by Todd Cum, also from Randolph. Let's check the number on that youngster. It is indeed number 28, who came in playing that defensive end spot. I'm surprised to see him playing there. He's 6 foot 185. He's also a 3-time Golden Gloves boxing trophy winner, so he likes to mix it up front there.
TKO the offensive tackle and took on the ball carrier. Third down and 3. Steer again. Big hole for him. He'll have the first down and more. Crossing the 35 to the 33.
Tell you what, that's a tough piece of running by Tom Steer. Very good, I should say excellent all-around athlete. Set a record for his age category in the junior decathlon. There you see it one more time. Number 68 taking a beat on him right there for the North was Paul Hawley, not able to haul him down. 6'4", 240 is Hawley.
Outstanding block by the left guard Mike Cuevas, who was pulling around and took care of Nick Reese. That's what enabled Steer to get that first down. Ball was at the 34-yard line. Fumble on the play. On the exchange, Johnson looked like he was back to recover. And he does. It'll be second down.
That was play action that looked like coming to our side or to the west sideline. Had a check on the, and we see it right there. Not able to, I think he hit the pad. He hit the thigh pad with the football and just not able to get the handle. But the receivers on the deep route, we were going to see a pass play on that play, but didn't get to it.
Second down and 12 at the 36, 5:10 to play, quarter number 1. The South on the move, taking advantage of a North fumble. To give us to Steer again, he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and may have picked up a yard. It'll be third down and long. Zatko, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle.
Zatko once again around the football. Outstanding player at Lakeview for a couple of years, won the Satoma Award there in Lakeview. Also involved in wrestling a couple of years, and a member of the Super State football team.
Third down 11 at the 35, 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. South in the white, moving right to left on your screen. The draw to Steer. Hit initially in the backfield, and he'll drag a couple of defenders across the 30. It'll be fourth down. Lamont Gilchrist in on the tackle.
Tom Steer continues to run that draw play up the middle. See it right here. Good shot from the end zone. Just 1 2 tackles missed right there. Finally, 2 people converge and knock Tom Steer down, but not until he picked up about 5 yards on the play. Tom Steer, again, coming to the University of Nebraska this fall. All-state fullback. Check that, just all-state 2 times in his career.
It's fourth down and 6. The ball is at the 30. The South will go for it. Johnson will scramble out. He's got room to run. Beats the end. He is at the 10, the 5. Cluster Johnson, touchdown. Running that bootleg to perfection. He got in there one-on-one, picked up a block on the corner, and Cluster Johnson had some room to run, picked up the first down easily, then made the touchdown all by himself.
Steve Goebels giving chase. We'll see it right here in the red, number 40 in pursuit. Johnson gets outside the color, so what do? You turn it upfield and go. There's Goebels 40, number 40, I should say, and just that momentary block. I didn't pick up the number on that, but that was it. That enabled him to spring loose, and Joe Bocek very concerned about Johnson's ability to run, and you see it in person, Joe, right there.
It looked like Kurt Johnson, the tight end, came back to make that block on Goebels. That is what's helped Johnson get into the end zone and pick up the first down. The PAT by number 81 there on your screen, Jeremy Gardner, was good, and he is a story in himself. Gardner comes into the game 5'10", 135 pounds. That was we thought it may have been a typo, but we talked to the South coaches, and he just said he is tough as nails.
He's one of those guys that's 5'10", 135, but he doesn't know it. He plays like he's about 6'5" and about 250. He'll take anybody on. He's got a great leg. He'll kick PATs and field goals. We'll hear that name quite a bit here this afternoon. And one of the things that caught my eye about Gardner, Bill, is he also works at Tiburon Golf Course. So we have to get to know that kid even better than we do.
Well, if he's been out shagging my golf balls out there, I like him back. 3:40 to play in the first quarter. The South has taken a 7-0 lead on Cluster Johnson's 30-yard touchdown run. Dave Fair of Omaha Westside will kick things off. The kick is short. Bounding around, picked up by Jeb Mayberry. And he is stopped. The ball will be spotted at the 23, and Tony Veland and company will set up there.
See what the North squad does in response to the touchdown, and whether or not they're going to try to put it in the air. Joe Bocek, not one to pass all that much, but he's got a great quarterback, and Tony Veland threw for 700 yards last fall, rushed for 700 yards. Veland, one of the top quarterback recruits in the Midwest. Super state player and just about everything, a little bit like Johnson.
Again, out of that Maryland eye, Terrell Rose crossing the 25 to the 27. It'll be second down.
George Roll on the hit out of Omaha Bryan. He closed down in the gap, put the shoulder on the inside, and knocked him down.
Frosty Anderson is down on the sidelines. Let's go to him.
Okay, I got Cluster Johnson here who scored on that reverse. What did the play look like?
Well, it was supposed to be a counter pass, but the coach told me if the receiver's open and I had a lot of room to run, he just said go ahead and run it.
Now, this was going for it on fourth down. Is that, were you expecting that?
Well, yeah, kind of, because we've been running that counter play, and they've been biting it, so we figured that they'd go that way.
Great job.
The result was a touchdown. Here's a second down and 5. The ball is knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Number 93, Phil Tupper, knocked it down from his defensive end spot from Pawnee City. 6'5" and 230 pounds, a big target over there, knocking that pass down. See it right here. Veland delivering, but the paw got in the way, guys.
Tupper earned 12 varsity letters during his high school career. You got to love those guys that come from the smaller towns that are just involved in everything.
You bet. All-around athletes, football, basketball, baseball, track.
And that's something that the coaches mentioned that they were looking for when they were making their selections. 3rd down and 5, 2.5 to play here in the first. Veland, a lone setback. He'll take it himself on the quarterback draw. Needs to get to the 35. Has got the first down and more to the 45, 50. Tony Veland in the open. One man to beat. He's going to go for a touchdown. Tony Veland from the 28 to the end zone in the South has seen their lead dwindle on the big play.
I'll tell you what, that's just a classic run. That's just threading the needle all the way. All the way down the field. That's all they did was thread the needle. One of the South team players fell down, kind of skidded down at about the 25-yard line. That helped out a little bit. But let's watch this again. Just watch him just work his way, kind of like a master with a brush. There's a little juke there. He gets out of the way. He gets out of the way right there. Threads it one more time. Good job right there. Shoves the tackler down. And now it's off to the races. Well, once more, thread it again. You're going to see a player on the top of your screen right here kind of slip down. No, we won't. But anyway, that's exactly what he did. Just broken field running at its best.
Wyatt Lunenberg and Chad Young, a pair of Millard South Indians, had the best chance at him downfield, but Veland eluded both of them.
Watch him. Watch right here. I think everybody on the South squad had a shot at him, Bill. That should have been the tackle right there, but that was Chad Young, who's just simply trying to arm tackle this guy, and he can't do it.
Terrence Jackson had the last shot at him, but then the field again is slippery. He slipped right there, and then at the 20-yard line, and Veland just waltzed right in for the touchdown. We're tied at 7.
What was that, 60-some yards?
72 yards.
72 yards.
If I can add right.
Check the longest touchdown run was 74 yards by an old teammate of mine, Larry Frost, out of Malcolm High back in '65. So if indeed it was that distance, he just tied the Shrine Bowl record.
Well, we're tied at 7, 2:15 to play here in the first quarter. Now, both of these coaches like to run, so you anticipate a running battle, and that's the way both the touchdowns have been scored. But there's been some excitement here early in this one. Brian Rule will kick things off. Steer and Wynn back deep to receive. The last one went into the end zone. And this one carries Wynn to the goal line. He'll bring it out. Across the 10 to the 20. Darrell Wynn to the 30. Spun around just enough and brought down.
Garrett Zoner, number 20 on the North squad, brought down Wynn. And I tell you what, we heard about Wynn's speed.
Let's go down to the sidelines with Frosty Anderson.
Okay, Tony Veland, not to be outdone by Clester Johnson on the touchdown run. Quarterback draw, what did it look like?
It was this quarterback draw was in our eighth formation, where I dropped back and fake like I was going to throw the ball. That spreads them out, get the linebackers flowing back a little bit, and I go straight up the middle and just do what I can.
Some great moves in there. Did you have some help downfield?
Oh, yeah. A lot of blocks downfield and a little bit of shakes for myself, and I got the score.
Great job. They're scoring early.
Bill, I like that. A little bit of shake for myself.
We've got a player down, have not been able to get the number.
But he likes to keep it going in the classroom.
At Tony Veland's touchdown run again, and what it looked like was one of those playground runs where the best athlete in the class. And Terrence Jackson.
Certainly hope that.
On the bench on the north sideline, and we've got the action ready to resume. Buster Johnson and company inside 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Johnson will drop back to pass. Ball going deep. He'll go to the flat. Picked up by Gardner. Across the 35, knocked out of bounds at the 39 by Lamont Gilchrist.
Again, Jeremy Gardner out of Gretna, the 135-pounder, one of the smallest ever to play in this football game. But again, he is one of those individuals who doesn't even know that he weighs 135. And you see Johnson set up. Good toss to the outside, right on the money. And then watch Gardner do a little bit of magic right here. And he takes the big hit, walks right away from it. Again, just tough as nails.
Garrett Zoner had a chance. He was zeroing in on him when he made the catch, but just ran right by him. 2nd down and 3. Johnson trying to run that option, but he has absolutely nowhere to go, and the penalty flag is thrown. Looked like Casey Lund may have been in on the tackle.
Little breakdown up front right here is number 70 again.
Knutson and
for the
Lund.
North, Knutson and Lund that put the pressure on, but just a little bit of a breakdown in that offensive line that let Lund and Knutson basically flow right on through. Looks like it's going to be on the south team, Bill.
Stan Campbell talking to Phil Ellis. The south team has already retreated back. No indication as of yet. We're tied at 7 with 1:41 to play here in the first quarter. The 33rd annual Shrine Bowl Classic from Memorial Stadium.
We talked about the cohesiveness of each of these teams. Joe Bocek, North squad coach, simply was amazed at how his ball club came together. It was like, you know, he didn't even have to say, hey, guys, we have to play together. As a matter of fact, he didn't say that. They simply came together on their own after practice each day and put it all together in a very team-oriented type of effort.
Second down 18. Reggie Ball catch it at the 15, across the 25. A couple of shakes of his own. He's back to the 29.
How's that quick screen out there? Darrell Wynn setting up to make a block, trying to spring Reggie Ball. You'd like to get that. We'll see it one more time from the end zone. Watch 23 make the block out here. There's Reggie. There it is right there. But that's a good job by number 84, Lamont Gilchrist, and he's the guy that likes to hit out there in that secondary. He can run. He's about a 4.59 speedster out of Omaha North. He likes to make the big hit.
3rd and 14. Darrell Wynn, nowhere to go in the backfield. He's brought down quickly. Paul Hawley of Millard North coming in to make the play. It'll be 4th down.
Get a little bit of a breakdown in that offensive front line. And you got a guy like Hawley, 6'4", 240. And he can move, folks. He's in the backfield just about at the snap of the ball on that play.
30 seconds now to play in the first quarter. Kluver is back to punt. Gilchrist and Buckner to receive. The North should get good field position out of this.
Good.
High booming punt. Good hang time. And Buckner calls for fair catch at the 39. 12 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. We're tied at 7. Tony Veland, a long touchdown run for the North, and Cluster Johnson opened things up with another long one on 4th down for the South. Veland trots out, number 10 coming onto your screen. A couple of ticks left. We'll probably have time for one play here in the first quarter. Nelson is split wide to the left, top of your screen. They'll give it to Terrell Rose across the 45, drugged down. Had a big hole to go through. Brought down by Tom Cornish.
Great block that time by Brett Hagedorn, coming from the left side, pulling from the left side to come up into the hole and lead it. Brett Hagedorn out of York, 6'6", 210. But again, an excellent first down play. They picked up about 7 yards on the play.
Well, there's no time left in the first quarter in the North, and Tony Veland very anxious to get this drive going. We're tied at 7 here in the 33rd annual Shrine Bowl. We'll return after this on Nebraska Public Television.
Next on Mystery, Poirot investigates murder committed right under his nose. The 3rd floor flat on Mystery.
Patience, my friend, and you will learn everything.
Watch Mystery Thursday night at 9.
Next time on Skyscraper, the bricks go up, but the granite facade stays down. So even though there's good news in Venice, there's bad news in New York. Steel and Stone, next time on Skyscraper.
Watch Skyscraper Wednesday night at 8 on Nebraska Public Television.
You're watching the Nebraska ETV Network.
Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala back at the 33rd annual Shrine Bowl Classic from Memorial Stadium. While we were away, Kyle Langley, the fullback, carried, needed to get to just across the 49, close to the 54, the first down, and we'll have a measurement. Langley, the fullback out of Sydney.
First down.
Just by inches. Second first down of the game racked up by the North squad. It'll be first down and 10 at their own 49. North in red, the South in white. They've changed ends now. The North will go right to left, south to north here at Memorial Stadium. One setback and 4 receivers in the pattern. And Phelan will go to the air. Hangs one up for Merritt Nelson. He's got it at the 40 and run out of bounds at the 38.
Tell you, great pressure that time by Ron Albers, number 91 from Bellevue East, headed to Iowa State. Watch the bottom of your screen right here. Number 91 on the pass rush. The arms are up. And it caused Phelan to sail that football just as you see it right there. It looks like a goose coming down by Lisco. But good catch. Good catch. But good pressure by Ron Albers.
Merritt Nelson, 6'4", 185 pounds, a 2-time letterman at Fremont High School. Honorable mention Super State. Picks up the first down. Brought out of bounds by Casey Head of Geneva. First and 10 at the 39, and we've got a lot of movement there on the offensive line.
Steve Frost might have jumped there.
Just a little bit anxious.
Steve out of Wood River. I mentioned earlier Larry Frost. That's Steve's dad. He played this game back in 1965 and has the record for the longest touchdown run of 74 yards. Steve Frost and his brother, outstanding performers at Wood River. Steve, 6'2", 240. They'll be headed to Colorado State this fall. Steve, a 2-time Super Stater, academic All-Stater. Got to be really proud of that young man.
First down, 15, 11 and a half to play here in the first half. Out of that Maryland I, the 3-back formation. Phelan gives to his I-back. Terrell Rose bounces off one tackler across the 35, stays in bounds, stepped out at the 26. Wyatt Lunenborg, the monster back, came over and knocked him out finally.
Casey Head had a shot at him right at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see it right here. He's going to hit him right up in the face, right there, and just not able to wrap up and make the tackle. And then he's able to step on down and make some good yardage after that initial hit.
Good job of staying in bounds. It looked like he maybe headed out at the 30, but was able to pick up 4 more yards. It's first down and 10 at the 26 for the North. Nelson is split wide left. Phelan rolling out. Looking for his tight end. He has him open. Phelan has to take it himself. Fumbles the football. And the South will take over.
George Roll made the initial hit on that sprint out by Phelan. And Bill, I don't know if the ball is a little damp down there or what. We'll see it one more time here. Phelan's going to go to his right now. 61, George Roll out of Omaha Bryant's going to come up and make the initial hit. Well, maybe not. Yes, no, that's 51. It's Brandon Bender.
And it looked like Tom Cornish, the middle linebacker in pursuit, picked up the fumble. Jason Cahill is now in at quarterback for the South. Steer is the I-back. He takes the handoff, and Casey Lund is there to meet him. Lund, number 80. We've called his name a lot. He's an 8-man player from Newcastle.
Great to see those people from the smaller schools come in and stand out as he has. And you're right, Bill. We've called that name a lot here this afternoon thus far. Casey, 6'4", 215, All-State 2 years running, both in football and basketball. Doing a great job this afternoon.
Again to Dave Fair, the I-back. So after coming out throwing, Gene Hunting has decided to go back to what he likes to do best, and that's run the football. Darrell Wynn, the I-back, played the first quarter. Now Dave Fair is in there. We've also seen Tom Steer from Crete. 10 minutes to play here in the first half at the 33rd Annual Shrine Bowl. 7-7 is our score. Nebraska quarterback recruits Cluster Johnson and Tony Veland, each with a long touchdown run in the first quarter. Cahill has his own receiver from high school, his teammate Reggie Ball, split wide right. They'll keep it on the ground to the fullback Adam Schultz to the 35.
Good job that time by 62 Phil Ellis. He filled the hole. He scraped right into the hole. and made the hit on the ball carrier. Phil Ellis, 6'2", 225 out of Grand Island. I'm sure everybody recognizes that name. Again, one of the top recruits in the Midwest this year.
Ball split wide right. Jeremy Gardner split wide left. Cahill will look to throw. He's got his tight end, Chris Hardick, at the 50. Deep into North Territory. Nice pass play to the tight end, Cahill to Hardick.
That's just great misdirection on the part of the South. Cahill faking that bootleg. Now watch the play right here. He's going to fake to the right, come back, or fake to the left, come back to the right, and do the little touch pass over the defender there to Hardick. And then he's going to turn it up, make about 10 yards. But had everybody going the other way, and then able to just to fool the defender, touch the pass over that defender, and pick up good yardage.
Well, you'll see that combination at UNO in the coming years. Cahill on his way to be a Maverick, as is Hardick. Keeping on the option to Fair. Across the 35 to the 30. Some room to run for Dave Fair. Another first down.
Leading scorer last year for Omaha West Side, Dave Fair. Also a standout in soccer, 6'1", 195. Now watch this running right here. He's going to turn it up inside. Good job by number 20 for the North team, Garrett Zoner, to turn it in. But Fair just picks up about 6 more yards. Once that happens, Zoner trying to turn it in, get some help from the inside. A little bit too late.
And again, credit Adam Schultz, the fullback, with a big block. Schultz will get the handoff here across the 20, pulls down to the 18. It'll be second down.
Bill, you talked about Gene Hunting's comments about the passing game and or lack of the passing game. And I was really interested to see the comment he made in the paper this week. He said, I just have to remember to throw the ball. I have to remind myself that the ball is shaped that funny way for a reason.
Otherwise, he'd be a basketball coach. Gene Hunting, the head coach at Cozad, he handled the running backs and defensive ends during camp. He was assisted by Mark Ward of Crete, Lou Barley of Nebraska City, and Tim Bond of Omaha. Cahill on the option. He's got Fair. He'll keep it himself and get knocked down. John Atkinson, the middle linebacker from Columbus, made the stop. Call it third down and 2.
Also, good job by Lamont Gilchrist at the cornerback spot to keep that relationship with the pitchman on the play. He stayed right out there with that pitchman and made it almost impossible for Cahill to
third down and 2,
to make the pitch.
Third down 2. The ball is at the 15. Cahill with 2 receivers in the pattern. He'll give it to the fullback Schultz again. Schultz stretching towards the 10. He'll have the first down. Lamont Gilchrist made the tackle.
Schultz has been one of the very pleasant surprises in camp this fall. Almost this fall, let's call it that. But all the coaches were really surprised and happy to see his development in camp. He's out of Kearney, Nebraska, honor roll student. He'll be coming to Nebraska to study engineering this fall.
And that man on your screen is Lamont Gilchrist out of Omaha North, the leader of the North squad. Some miscommunication there on the North defensive line. They're set to go now. It's first down and goal at the 10. The pitch to Fair slips down. He'll lose a yard. Sean Mitchell, the cornerback, was there to make the stop.
Joe Bocek's comment about Lamont Gilchrist this week is, I'll take him home in a minute. What a great kid. Good hitter, good student, headed UNO this fall. He can dunk the basketball or dunk the football from a standing start in a basketball hoop, and that's incredible. Lamont Gilchrist, 5'9", 175.
Second down 10. They can get a first down here to Ball. He'll have a touchdown.
Speed and quickness, and that's what they were concerned about, and there you see it, Reggie Ball. Joe Bocek said we're really concerned about Reggie Ball. If they don't throw to him, they don't want to win the game. Well, they've thrown to him quite a bit here this afternoon, and Reggie just did that on his own. Watch this. Gilchrist is out there on the coverage, but Reggie's just simply going to take the ball and beat him. Right there, Gilchrist not able to find the handle on the elusive Reggie Ball.
It's that quick pass, and then they just let Reggie Ball do his individual work on the defensive back. Jeremy Gardner adds the point after, and the South has taken a 14-7 lead with 6:50 to play in the first half. Good job of mixing up the run and the pass there in that drive by Gene Hunting and the South team.
We're just putting in the offense last night. They're doing real well, I would say. And he has remembered how to throw the football. It's a great game. It's a fun game. We talked about top shelf speed, quickness, been some very elusive running. been, I guess, the scoring at this point, Bill, we have to be satisfied, obviously, with that. It's been an excellent football game thus far.
Well,
Very little in the way of mistakes.
We didn't make it a personal challenge for these coaches to match what we saw at Scotts Bluff last weekend, 39-30.
But we did talk to them about it. Well, these all-star games, oftentimes it's just very difficult to get in a meaningful offense, to get enough repetitions. You have 70 stars out there, and it's tough to get everybody in, get the repetitions they need, and consequently maybe the execution is not as crisp as you'd like to see it. But so far it's been pretty good.
Fair kicks off. Taken by Buckner for the trick. That's a little going with it is Michael Horacek. Knocked down hard at the 25 by Terrence Jackson.
Buckner fields the kickoff and then hands back to Michael Horacek. Michael Horacek runs 4.49. He's out of Omaha Benson. He'll be headed to Iowa State this year, but the little hand back on the kickoff. Frosty Anderson has an interview. Let's go down to Frosty.
Jason Cahill from Papillion. The old combination gets together again.
Yeah, Reggie had him one-on-one. He knew to press off because he was up tight. And we ran that at the plane, so it just worked again here.
This offense much like yours?
It's not very much like us. We didn't run any option, but I'm adjusting to it.
Good adjustments. Good job.
Jason Cahill was the USA Today Nebraska Football Player of the Year, as well as the Touchdown Club of Atlanta Nebraska Back of the Year, and he did a great job in leading Papillion to the state title. That hookup of Jason Cahill and Reggie Ball saw that quite a bit last year.
Plus connected for 27 touchdown passes and completed 56% of his passes last fall. That's Jason Cahill. Nice work.
And in the game for the North now, at quarterback is Blaine Rump out of Fremont Bergen. 2nd down and 3 for the North. Pitch back to the eye, back to Terrell Rose. Hit hard by Terrence Jackson, but he'll have enough for the 1st down. I tell you, Terrence Jackson out of Omaha Central likes to come up and hit.
You bet. A lot of big hitters, as we talked about top of the show, but also a big hit by Steve Frost on the block. Watch Steve Frost. I'm not sure if we're going to get it there. Well, good block by 34. Also Jeb Mayberry, but also Steve Frost making an excellent block to let the ball carrier move on up.
Got a piece of Ron Albers, the defensive end, who came up. Referees are going to stop play. 5:34 to play here in the 1st half. South on top, 14-7. Not quite sure. Well, we've got an equipment problem there. Terrence Jackson, he's been hitting people so hard, he's knocked some equipment loose. May have knocked his marbles loose as well.
Are you saying he's looking for a phone or what?
But his greatest sports thrill, it said on his information sheet, was coming up and hitting running backs.
That's good. I like that.
He's been able to do that quite a bit.
I like
now.
that a lot, as a matter of fact.
1st down and 10 at the North 38. Rump will give to the I-back Rose again across the 40. And again on the stop, Terrence Jackson.
Phil Tupper in there also from his defensive end spot. He got a hand in it. And also, as you call, Jackson. Jackson, one of the co-captains on this ball club, along with Lester Johnson, Tom Cornish, and Reggie Ball for the South squad.
Captains of the North squad, Tony Veland, Brian Gregert, Phil Ellis, and Lamont Gilchrist. So congratulations to those guys. That's a nice honor to get. 2nd down and 5 at the 43. Pitch to Rose. Trying to find a hole. Inches his way up to the 45. It'll be 3rd down.
Tell you what, the block by Mayberry, pretty exciting on the play. Rose picks up another 5 because of the block by Jeb Mayberry on the play. Rose is going to come out for a little equipment check.
Let's go down to Frosty Anderson on the sidelines. Frosty?
This is Ron Lau, defensive coordinator for the North. The team's been on the field quite a bit. Any adjustments you can make at this point?
I think, well, our defensive ends need to stick to that outside a little bit tougher, and we just need to get a little bit harder on the inside. But we just need to get with the flow of the game. They've got a lot of speed out there, and we just got caught a couple times, and that's been the story.
Let's see what goes on.
Ball carried there by the upback, Todd Lawhorn. It'll be 4th down and 4 now. Gregor will be the punter. Going back to receive the punt is Tom Steer. Gregor out of Elkhorn. And a timeout is called. And it's taken by the North. So the communication in this All-Star game, they may be a couple of players short. So just checking their assignments and just to see who's on those punt teams. Sometimes those guys forget.
It's not uncommon for that to happen. Tom Steer dropped back, as you mentioned, Bill, and then all of a sudden Reggie Ball came streaking back also. So we'll probably see both of those fellas once they get their alignment straightened out. Have those people back in the reception area.
Gregor called the timeout, and as he did, Eric Knutson, his teammate at Elkhorn, came walking onto the field. Do you think those two would remember that they're in the same play together? 4th down and 4. The ball is at the North 44. We're tied, rather the South has taken a 14-7 lead with 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half. We mentioned the assistant coaches for the South squad. Joe Vocek of Fremont Bergen is aided on that North team by Ron Locks of Lexington, Lyle Nannon of Randolph, and Lonnie Tapp of Omaha Benson. Fake punt. It's to the up back. Garrett Zoner needs to get to the 48. He'll be close.
I don't think he made it, Bill.
But it doesn't look like close enough.
The 48-yard line is exactly the spot, and we'll see where they put it. No, they're short of it. He didn't make it.
Just crossed the 47. Not a bad idea in a situation like that. They're at midfield, and time is really running out here in an All-Star game with 3.5 minutes to play, although we have seen some explosive action from the two quarterbacks, Cahill and Johnson. Good field position now for Cahill. He's got Gardner and Ball in the pattern. Gardner split wide right to the bottom of the screen. Looking for him on that chair pattern. He's got him at the 21. Stepped out of bounds there. Lamont Gilchrist again covering Ball.
What we're seeing is basically kind of a personal duel between the speed of Reggie Ball and the aggressiveness of Lamont Gilchrist. And Lamont has got the short end of it here the last couple of times. Cahill's going to lay it out and let Ball run right under it. And there you see he's got him beat pretty well. Lamont in his defensive alignment, and there you see the 2 feet just stepping right on the 1 foot right on the line. But Lamont gets down a little bit low, and it's tough for him to react to the speed of Reggie Ball. He's up a little higher right now.
3 minutes now in the half. The option to win. Slashes his way down toward the 10-yard line. Heath Peterson of Utica Centennial with the big block.
I think Brett Ehlers on the hit. He saved the touchdown.
Check that. Peterson from Cozad. He's one of Gene Hunting's boys.
Ehlers coming up from his free safety spot.
Close enough for a measurement.
It's a bit short, Bill.
It'll be 2nd down and quite a bit less than 1. The ball just outside the 10-yard line. 2:47 to play in the half. The South with a 14-7 lead and driving. Well, I thought that fake punt was a pretty good call at the time. And
oh, that's good. I'd love to see it just liven up the game. The real winners and losers, actually there are no losers in this ball game. They're all winners. But obviously the real winners are the youngsters that make use of the program up in Minneapolis and the Shrine Hospital.
To the up back, Tom Steer. He'll have enough for the first down. Needed to cross the 10. He did just that, and it'll be 1st down and goal with 2:41 to play in the half. And Steer comes out limping. He got twisted around pretty good on the tackle. Ball will be spotted at the 9-yard line. 1st down and goal from the 9. Clock ticks away to 2.5 minutes here in the first half. Wynn is the I-back. Schultz the fullback. On the option, they'll pitch it to Wynn. He drops the ball and may have lost a yard.
Again, Lamont Gilchrist coming out from that corner spot to make the hit. Make the very aggressive hit. Wynn got the clubhouse bounce on the pitch. Able to continue to control it. We'll see it one more time here. Just not able to get the handle, and there's Gilchrist on the hit. A little help from Ehlers coming up from the safety spot.
If he doesn't get the good bounce, he's in a lot of trouble because all that there were red jerseys around Darrell Wynn. 2nd down and goal from the 11. Gardner and Ball. the receivers. The counter goes to Wynn, goes outside, has to make up some ground. And he's brought down another loss. John Atkinson of Columbus, the middle linebacker, made the initial hit.
Almost expected them to try the pass pattern to Reggie Ball that time. Talking about the South squad, as you take a look at Atkinson right there getting the defensive signals. But again, on the alignment, it looked almost that they were setting up Reggie to try to go one-on-one one more time, but they crossed up the defense and tried to spring Darrell Wynn around the left side, but North team defense was there.
A minute 12 now, a minute 11, and a timeout is called by the South. That's their first timeout. They have 2 remaining in the first half.
So, you know, we talked earlier just a few moments ago about the winning of the football game and all these people being winners, and also the people up in Minneapolis. Joe Vocek basically nailed it right on the head when he said everybody's going to try hard to win, but really we've already won because of what the efforts are for the hospital. His guys bringing gifts up to the kids and see the connections.
The 1991 Shrine Bowl is All-Star Game on Nebraska ETV is brought to you in part by Nebraskans for Public Television. Join over 30,000 contributing members of NPTV with your financial support of quality programs like Backyard Farmer, Nova, Sesame Street, and all statewide sports coverage. You can become a member of this elite group by writing to Post Office Box 83111, Department S, Lincoln, Nebraska 68501. Nebraska Public Television, it's TV worth watching. Third down, the ball is at the 13. Cahill scrambling out, he's smothered. Making that tackle was Stephen Gubbles of Randolph. Anticipated the pass, Cahill brought it back, and Gubbles was all over it.
Steve will remember that hit for a long time. That'll put a little fire in your eye. Here we go right now. Cahill looking to throw the football. Watch this flash from the screen right there. Bingo. Well, it rained earlier on, but Steve kept the old powder dry for that hit. Wow.
And what that did was push the field goal attempt back farther. The ball will be put down at the 27, a 37-yard attempt for Jeremy Gardner. The kick is away and nowhere near. So the North dodges a bullet with 25 seconds to go in the first half. The South with a first down at the 9-yard line and just lost yards from there. And Gubbles, that third down play, had a lot to do with it. 25 seconds now remain in the half. The North will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Well, it was a key play because Cahill was trying to work his way over to connect up with Reggie Ball one more time, who was doing his job one-on-one downfield, and we know what can happen in that set of circumstances. So Gubbles just saves the bacon actually for the North team.
We'll see what Blaine Rump and company can do with 25 seconds. Nelson is the split out to the bottom of the screen. They give this to the I-back, Terrell Rose, a lot of open field territory. He's got a blocker downfield. Chad Nelson runs him out at the 50-yard line. So the clock will stop. It'll be first down with 17 seconds to play. And keep in mind that on the north sideline, there's the top field goal kicker in the state in Brian Rue of Creighton Prep.
Jason Bartlett on the play, big block. He let the ball carrier. Watch 78 in your screen now, or at the top right of your screen. There you see the ball carrier, and bingo, he knocks him down, and he gives Rose another opportunity to move on downfield. And there was Bartlett. You saw Bartlett looking for somebody else to block.
1st and 10 at the 48. Rump. He's looking for Bruckner and Gregor. Coming from behind to make the play is Casey Head, and a penalty flag is thrown. Head played a good break for the football, but just got there a little bit too early.
I think it was a clean play myself. We'll see it again as Rump is going to sprint left. That defender's got as much right to the ball as the offensive person does, and I think it's a good play.
Tie goes to the runner, I guess.
Well, like I said, it makes for interesting football, and it also gives this North team an opportunity. Knocks the clock down with 11 seconds, and we might see another score.
Well, Rump had Jeremy Buckner in the pattern, and Buckner is one of the fastest players in the state. And so the South has to be very conscious of where he is at on the field, and that enabled Buckner to slip inside or in front of the secondary and get open. Casey Head, I agree with you. It looked like he made a good defensive play. 15-yard penalty will spot the ball at the 33. So from here, you're looking at a 50-yard field goal attempt, which is within Rue's range.
Rue starts practicing at about 40, moves it back to 60. Here we go, Bill.
First down and 10 out of the Maryland I. Lawhorn across the 30 gives him some more room to work with. Right up the middle, 5 seconds and timeout is called. Keep the ball in the middle and give him a straight-on shot at it. Rue walks calmly onto the field as Lawhorn trots off. 5 seconds to play here in the first half. The South on top, 14-7. But the North, with 25 seconds, has been able to use that time very, very wisely. Rue is spotting there at the 33. That'll make it a 43-yard attempt. And as Adrian mentioned, in practice, they just began at the 40 and let him go further back from there. He missed a 60-yarder in practice by hitting the upright.
Well within his range. Again, a three-time all-conference kicker, and also a super state player. He's just a lot of lightning in that leg, and this is well within his range right here. Not sure exactly which way that breeze is going down there. It was coming out of the north, wasn't it, Bill, or northwest?
North out of the northwest, 13 miles an hour. So it doesn't appear to be much of a factor. We don't feel it very much up here. And keep in mind that when he was kicking those 50 and 60 yarders in practice, that was off of a grass field. So Brian Rue of Creighton Prep will put that right leg into it. 5 seconds to play. Good snap. Kick is up. And good. 43 yards for Brian Rue. The half has come to an end. The clock is at 0. The South will go in with a 14-10 lead, but the North will go in with a lot of momentum. That's our score, 14-10. Cluster Johnson and Tony Veland with a couple of touchdown runs. Cahill to Reggie Ball for another touchdown. And then with 25 seconds to play in the first half, the North mounts a successful field goal drive to close the gap, 14-10. We've seen some good football here from Memorial Stadium.
Really have, and the kicking game has paid off, as Joe Bocek said he would like to have it pay off, and we've seen it happen.
Frosty Anderson is working his way around the field. We're hoping to get an interview with South coach Gene Hunting, and it looks like they're down there. Let's go down to Frosty.
Gene Hunting, it's been a big game of big plays so far in the first half. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I guess we've been kind of fortunate. We got a couple of fumbles from them. We took advantage of it. I'm real pleased with the way that we're moving the ball. Really haven't had too many breakdowns offensively as far as execution. I think we're pleased with the way that we're passing the ball, and I think we're starting to establish the run a little bit too. I guess probably my biggest concern is our defense. I think we're playing hard enough. Our tackling is not very good, and I don't think we're really following through on our responsibilities, so we have to get that straightened out at halftime.
Has anything surprised you in any big way?
I think on the defensive side of the ball, they're moving the ball against our defense a lot more than I thought they would, because I thought that'd be the strength of our team is our defense. So we've got to get that area shored up, I think.
All right, well, good luck in the second half.
All right, thanks, Frosty. We're at halftime at the 33rd Annual Nebraska Shrine Bowl Classic with our score, the South 14 and the North 10. We'll return with our halftime activities after this on the Nebraska.
In San Diego.
Nevada, Buenos Aires, Fort in the Island.
Stories behind the Shrine Bowl game that touch many people, often for a lifetime. And our NETV crew went to Omaha this week to bring you one of them. Let's meet our littlest angel, Genevieve Anderson.
We've been married 10 years, August 15th, so our 10-year anniversary is coming up. We've got 3 kids. Melissa's turned 7 next month. Eric's 5 in October, and Genevieve just turned 13 months.
Well, when Genevieve was born, her foot was turned outwards and cocked up at a pretty good angle, and she had a birth defect. she was missing a bone on the outside of her leg. The outside bone was just partially there, and it keeps the foot down and turned in.
He said that she had a birth defect, and he called in a specialist, and he came in to look at her about 2 days after she was born, and he said she had fibular hemophilia, which was what she has, and he said, well, you know, this shouldn't be a problem. She'll be able to run and jump and cheerlead if she wants to, and anything any normal child could do.
He is the one, our family doctor, brought up the amputation, and it floored us. Corrective surgery would be an option. And he told us the other doctor probably didn't know us very well and wasn't comfortable dropping the big bomb on us.
We immediately wanted to start looking around for, you know, second opinions, more opinions.
Otherwise, you just crawl right out of it, don't you?
He recommended Shriners Hospital in Minneapolis, and he gave us some names of a couple other doctors down in Kansas City.
And after going through all the other hospitals, we didn't even have a second of doubt about where she would be, and we had no idea. To us, Shriners was the parade, you know.
Yeah, but there's great parades, and I knew they had burn hospitals, but I didn't know exactly what Shriners did at the time. When my dad had first contacted the Shriners, I thought, you know, what for? And he said, you got any idea what this stuff costs? I said, no, I don't. And anywhere from $500,000 up.
The Andersons first got in touch with the Shriners Hospital through Genevieve's grandfather, who was a friend of former potentate Gene Moberg of Omaha. Now Gene is Genevieve's special friend.
Like, they have a great staff of doctors, they said, and Shriners help us out financially. There's no hospital bills that come to us. They take care of it all. It wasn't just the financial end of it. The staff in the hospital and the other people that are up there, the parents that come in with the kids, they're just thrilled with Shriners. I mean, they're good. It's not a low-rate hospital. It's first class all the way. We have a new family that's looking after us, that's taking care of our baby and taking care of us financially with the medical costs of Genevieve. We've got friends up in Minneapolis that we never had before. She's doing great, and the Shriners are fantastic people.
A terrific story, and certainly our best to go out to Steve Angel. Where it
Geographic
for the world. It's a great experience. I had the opportunity to fly up with the team on Monday to Minneapolis and up to the hospital. Great experience, great group of kids.
It really is a great experience to make that trip. Steve, about the Nebraska Coaches Association, tell us a little bit about the organization and what's on your agenda this weekend.
We've got a big of it. We're hoping next year
activity here this week is about
o'clock.
Top of someone if
Watch American
Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala back at Memorial Stadium, the 33rd annual Shrine Bowl Classic underway. We're at halftime. The South on top of the North, 14-10, and Frosty Anderson is with North head coach Joe Bocek.
Joe, you had some time to talk it over at halftime. You brought it back to 4-point spread here. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's a heck of a tribute to our young men. I know what the score would be if we'd have got 3 fumbles. It'd be 28-0. I'll tell you that right now. But we didn't get them, and our defense did a heck of a job. We came back, and it's still a good ball game for the fans, and I'm sure everybody, the Shriners are real happy. The concessions are still going to be sold here, and it's not 30-0 right now with them 3 fumbles.
Anything different we should expect this half?
Well, we're going to have to continue doing the same thing. Everything we're doing is working. We just got to hang on to football. That's all, Frosty.
All right. Good luck.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So Joe's been in this ball game, and he came into this game a slight underdog, but the stats bear out a very close football game. The rushing yards in favor of the North.
There you see the stats. The big stat under the fumble category, actually 2 fumbles by the North, both picked up by the South. Passing also very important for a guy that didn't really want to throw the ball that much. The South squad, 7 out of 7 for 90 yards. The total yardage pretty even, as you can see, but 7 out of 7 for the South. Gene Hunting really wasn't sure what he would do as far as passing goes. That answers part of that question. But again, the key, 2 for 2 on the fumbles, 2 fumbles on the plays and 2 fumbles lost by the North, and that's the big difference in those statistics right there. Other than the score, and that's the one that counts.
The scoring summary for the North: Tony Veland with a 72-yard touchdown run, a lot of shaking and baking, according to Tony, that opened things up for the North. They came back, they trailed 7-0, and then the field goal right at the end of the half, a 43-yarder by Brian Rue. Those are the 10 points for the North squad. The South got on top first. A 4th down run of 30 yards by Cluster Johnson opened things up. And then Reggie Ball, a 10-yard, that should be a 10-yard pass reception from his high school teammate Jason Cahill. That's the 14 points Jeremy Gardner has had at both of the PATs, and that's where we stand, 14-10.
Great shot of John Atkinson right there with, I presume, some of the family. John Atkinson playing a great middle linebacker spot here this afternoon. And we had talked about that 72-yard run. We thought perhaps it was a 74-yard run, which would have tied the record set by Larry Frost for the longest touchdown run back in 1965. But Larry, my friend, your record is intact. So one more year, or at least you got another half to go here, and then maybe another year. We'll see what happens.
We got an indication that the halftime break that Brad Satko, the linebacker from Columbus Lakeview, went down with a knee injury. No further updates since then, but he has now been transferred to Lincoln General Hospital, where he's undergoing some tests. So we'll try to keep you abreast as best as possible as to Zatko's condition. That's too bad. A Super State performer, as Adrian said, the Class B captain of the All-State team, and he was playing very well early. He went out on a kickoff, and again, we'll try and get a report on his condition as the game progresses. The South will kick things off here to begin the second half. Back deep to receive is Lamont Gilchrist and Jeremy Buckner for the North. Dave Fair will kick it off. The ball spotted at the 40, and it's in the air, and we're underway. It'll be Buckner at the 5. Cuts it to the outside across the 25. Little room to run. Little improvisation, gets the ball out to the 32. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the North. The quarterback will be Tony Veland. Jeremy Buckner out of Grand Island, the all-time leader in the state in the 300-yard intermediate hurdles, shattered the record last year, and ironically, the man he beat for that gold medal was South quarterback Cluster Johnson.
Talked about earlier, Buckner, a 4.4940, ran it consistently in camp just a week or two ago.
1st down and 10. Veland is the quarterback. Terrell Rose dots the I. Gregor may have moved early. They're going to continue the play anyway. The pass intended for the tight end Brett Hagedorn of York is overthrown, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Gregor was set up in that Maryland I right behind Veland. Our referee is Stan Campbell, and the indication is illegal motion. So barring anything out of the ordinary, that will set the North back 5 yards. It'll be 1st down and 15 from the 27. An overcast day here in Lincoln. We had an early morning shower that cooled things off quite a bit, watered the field down. Usually that's not much of a factor. We've seen some players slip and slide there in the first half. But what they do before football games here anyway, when the Huskers play, is they water down the field, usually Saturday morning or Friday night. Gives the field a little bit better grip and is a little bit safer for the players as well. 1st and 15, 10 seconds into the second half. Buckner split out wide right. The give is to the I-back, Terrell Rose. Ron Albers, the defensive end from Bellevue East, hit him right away at the line.
Tell you what, that's about as tough as you're going to see a play being made by Ron Albers. He took that offside guard on head on and simply knocked him out of the way and then made the tackle. That's about as tough as I've seen a kid take that on at this level ever. Wow.
It'll be 2nd down and 16. Rose loses a yard. In the first half, Terrell Rose, 9 carries for 87 yards. He had a good half. 4 receivers in the pattern now for Veland. Trips to the left. Dropping straight back, 3 in the pattern. Short pass to Merritt Nelson is complete. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down.
What they do on that set, that trip set, they have 3 receivers to one side, and they'll usually run 2 of those people out of there. You'll see it here now to the left side. They'll run 2 of them deep to clear everything out. And then in this case, Merritt Nelson will drop off. He'll drag back and try to make the catch. The ball a little bit underthrown there. He does indeed make the catch, picks up a little bit of yardage. But that's the intent of that formation.
Wouldn't have gone much further had he caught it on his feet. Casey Head from Geneva was there ready to make the tackle. 3rd down and 10 at the 32. Mayberry goes in motion. Look for Veland to pass, and I wouldn't be surprised for the quarterback draw. We're going to see him go to the air, but he's going to scramble now. Again, he needs to get to the 1st down. He's got it across the 50 and more for Tony Veland. Brandon Kuhl comes across field to make the tackle.
Well, once again, we talk about threading the needle, and that's what Veland did right there. I tell you what, he is about as handy on his feet as anybody I've seen in this game last 6-7 years. And that's Tony Veland. Watch this here. Fred Astaire couldn't do it any better. Even bumping into one of his own people now. He's going to set up now. No, I'm going to take it down now. He just jukes people out of the way. Shake and bake, as he says. Look at him go.
Is that a replay of the touchdown run in the first half? I
tell you what, it's pretty close. Part of it is, anyway. And then he gets caught from behind by a guy he did not see. Probably if he saw that tackler, he probably would have moved him out, too, Bill.
1st down and 10. Nowhere to go on the handoff. Get the number on that.
Call
Jeff
anybody,
Mayberry.
About 4 guys in on the hit. Albers was in there, too. Big kid, 6'4", 232. He looks a little bit bigger than the 232. He's out of Bellevue East. He'll be headed to Iowa State this fall.
Says his greatest sports thrill is beating Bellevue West.
For a Bellevue East kid, I can believe it.
2nd down, 11. Lost a yard. Mayberry was the ball carrier. Again, the trips formation to the left of the screen. Trips left, and Mayberry goes in motion to the right. Hagedorn is split wide right. Veland all by himself. Good pressure put on by the line. Good solid hit down there. Tom Cornish, the middle linebacker. George Neal was in pursuit from the defensive tackle spot.
We heard that Cornish was the big hitter. We saw it right there, but also on that play, well, that shows me about that young man right there, as we'll look at it one more time from ground level. He's not afraid to take the hit either. I expected him, Bill, to step out of bounds here on the play, but he's not going to do that. He's still looking right here. Now he's going to try to turn it up. Bingo. Cornish. That's Tom Cornish out of Omaha West Side. We heard he was a tremendous hitter. He's one of the best players that West Side has ever had, and he showed it right there.
3rd down, 8 from the 27. Rolling out. Veland will keep it himself and meets Tony Randoni from West Side. Drags him down shy of the 1st down. They'll spot the ball at the 23. That'll make it 4th down and 4. Brew anxious to get out there to kick the field goal. Bocek calls him back, and they're going to go for it on 4th down. 8:38 to play here in quarter number 3. The South 14, the North 10. Buckner comes in from the sidelines with the play. Similar situation in the first quarter. Cluster Johnson and the South had a 4th down and 6 situation down here on the 30. Johnson took it in for a touchdown, the first score of the game. Let's see what Tony Veland can do. 4 receivers again in the pattern. Mayberry the lone setback. And he'll need to do it himself. Gets away. And he meets up. Looked like number 87, Darrell Moreau of Omaha Central.
It was indeed Moreau on the play, but also excellent coverage that time by the South secondary. They had basically everybody covered. The North team had 4 people out on the pattern. Once again, Veland will take a look at it, but 4 people out on the pattern. The lone setback, Mayberry, is fading out to the right, but he was definitely not in the pattern. But now Veland just not able to find anybody to go to. And there you see big number 87, Darrell Moreau from Omaha Central, clean up the quarterback.
Buster Johnson, the quarterback, pitches to Tom Steele, loses his balance and fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. It was first down and 10 at the 27, and he may have dove ahead just enough to get back there. It'll be second down and 10. The quarterback will be Cluster Johnson. He opened the game in the first quarter. Jason Cahill played the second. Both engineered their South team to touchdown drives. Ball is the wide receiver, split wide to the right. Clay Kluber is in the slot to the left. Looking for Ball. He's got him at the 30, and now Reggie Ball's got to do it on his own. Lamont Gilchrist hanging on and finally drug him down at the 36.
See what they're doing right there. Gilchrist taking him to the outside and getting a little help to the inside from his linebacker. That was number 62, Phil Ellis. Johnson delivering the ball out there, and now you got to have help with this guy. He's just too tough to bring down. Ellis coming from the inside and Gilchrist grabbing on, saying, hey, help me out, guys. Lamont, a tough hitter, but Reggie Ball really very quick on his feet.
Set the line. Peterson and Anthony are the tackles. Cuevas and Ott the guards, and Robert Hood is the center. Third down and 1 for Adam Schultz. He's got the first down and more. They'll move the change and stop the clock. 6:18 to play. South 14, North 10. We're in the third quarter. 33rd annual Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Bill Dolman and Adrian Fiala coming to you live from Memorial Stadium. The ball at the 41-yard line. Tom Steer is the I-back. Adam Schultz, the ball carrier, will situate himself at fullback. Sitters is flanked to the right and ball to the left. Timeout is called by Johnson. So 6:02 now to play in quarter number 3, and the South takes its first timeout. Summer means all-star games, and the action continues on Nebraska Public Television as NETV Sports presents the 1991 Nebraska Coaches All-Star Volleyball Game live from Lincoln East High School. The top high school graduated seniors will be competing in this annual event and promises to be some great action. So join us Thursday, August 8th, live at 7 p.m. for the 1991 Nebraska Coaches All-Star Volleyball Game here on Nebraska Public Television.
Hey, that's a game that always generates a great deal of excitement. Always been a very close match. I would encourage everybody to get out and see that volleyball match. It's really, again, entertainment well worth attending.
I'll tell you what, when things get rocking and rolling here in September, when UCLA comes to town, this may be a volleyball state for a couple of weeks.
Could happen. Could and should happen.
First down and 10 for Cluster Johnson. Steer the I-back, takes the handoff. Casey Lund comes in from the defensive end spot.
Once again, the name Lund appears from our lips, or is heard from our lips. Casey Lund, the 8-man player out of Newcastle, two-time All-Stater in football and basketball, is the most valuable player on his ball club a couple of years. He'll be headed to Wayne State this year. He's done a real good job here this afternoon.
For Steer, he gained 2. It'll be second down and 8 from the 43. Schultz is the fullback. Jeremy Gardner is in the game. He's the Gretna High product. Johnson rolling out. He'll take it himself on the bootleg across the 45 to 50. He's got the first down and more. Stephen Gubbles of Randolph finally brought Johnson down.
You've got a player down on the far side of the field, Bill.
That may be Gubbles, number 40.
Number
it
40,
is.
it is. Here's Johnson on that bootleg, and he's just simply going to tuck it and go. Now watch him put that, just that little step to the inside, and that puts number 68, Paul Hawley, who's in pursuit. Just, it messes up his rhythm in terms of his angle of tackle. And Johnson able to turn the corner then and turn it upfield and probably pick up another about 15 yards on the play as they're attending to Gubbles right now.
Gubbles an All-State honorable mention selection, headed to Hastings. Sports Idol is Vance.
Got to be quite an experience for a youngster.
I saw that. They're the good ones. There's some decisions to be made here in the next couple of years.
Both that.
You hate to see that happen. That's twice now a North player has gone down with what appears to be a knee injury. Again, Brad Zatko, a backup middle linebacker for the North, went down in the first half, and he is at Lincoln General Hospital right now. We have not gotten an updated word on his condition, but again, it was a knee injury that he suffered on a kickoff return. First down and 10 for the South. The ball is at the 33, and Johnson off the option to steer. Lamont Gilchrist knocks him down, but not until after he picks up 5, call it 6 yards.
Tom Steer continues to shine here this afternoon. He had a little bit of a bump earlier on. You're going to see him go to the left here. Now watch this hit by Lamont Gilchrist. Just a great open field tackle. He just took the legs right out from under him. Basically kind of a block is what that boils down to. But Lamont Gilchrist, 5'9", 175. Tom Steer, 6 foot 190. But he knocked the pins right out from under him.
Gain of 6, second down and 4.
Good ball.
Nobody home for Cluster Johnson. He steps out of bounds, takes a couple of yards loss. It'll be third down.
That time Jeremy Gardner was trying to work free from Lamont Gilchrist. Gilchrist has had his work cut out for him here this afternoon with Reggie Ball and Jeremy Gardner, but not able to do it. Excellent ball handling by Cluster Johnson on the play, coming up free and had plenty of time to throw, but that North secondary doing a fine job to cover the receivers back there.
Third down 3. The ball is at the 27. Steer is the I-back. Schultz the fullback. Reggie Ball, the dangerous one, is split to the right. They'll work the option and give to the fullback Schultz. He may have enough for the first down. He needed to get to the 23-yard line. And that's right where the referee has spotted the ball. Atkinson, the middle linebacker from Columbus, made the tackle.
Atkinson headed to Wayne this fall. 189-pound Class A wrestling champ this year. Also all-conference player for his school, Columbus High School.
Close, but not close enough. It's fourth down in inches for the South. No measurement. Schultz again. Off tackle. I'll tell you, the initial hit, he did not have the first down. Garrett Zoner of North Platte came up from the monster spot.
Has to get it up around the 23. Just depends where they spot the football. You're right, Bill. The initial hit. If they mark the ball right there,
no first down.
No first down. But he did have a little second effort, and he did indeed pick up the first down. So big break here for the South.
Good camera work there too.
First down at about the 23-yard line. Really was.
3.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. The South 14, the North 10. It'll be first down and 10 for Johnson and company. The ball is just inside the 23-yard line. On the option, the pitch to Steer. The defender slipped down, steers across the 20, brought down by Brent Ehlers. A penalty flag on the play.
It's a block by Reggie Ball. The defender turned on Reggie Ball. Now, whether or not they flag that or not is a clip, we'll see. But Reggie Ball, again, on that crackback block. Blocking below, right there. So that's indeed what the call is.
Reggie got the block, but got called for it.
Watch the block here right about there. Can't block below the waist.
Dangerous, too, because Ellis came up limping on that play. And that was the man that Ball hit. Ellis, a scholarship recruit linebacker from Grand Island. We have not called his name quite a bit this afternoon. Hunting may be avoiding him at all costs.
Joe Bocek thinks that Phil Ellis, being the great linebacker that he is, may indeed even be a better offensive lineman, Bill. Well, we talked a little bit about that situation. He wanted to maybe try him at the offensive line, but everybody knows how great a linebacker is too. But Joe thinks he's a better offensive lineman.
Inside 3 minutes now. First down and 25 to Reggie Ball. Good individual move there. Spinning and fighting his way across the 30. Todd Lawhorn came in and got a hit on him.
Well, Reggie Ball just continues to dazzle. One more time, Johnson going to get the ball out, let him do his work.
That was Lawhorn that got burned there.
what Reggie did is he got everybody moving to your left as we look at it, and then caught the ball on a comeback pattern and then tried to take it to the inside while that momentum of the defense was going to the outside. Good move by Reggie Ball.
Ball has great footwork. You notice that all game long, and that's probably where that soccer background comes into play. 2nd down and 16. Johnson to the air. Overthrows Jeremy Buckner. It'll be 3rd down.
He felt the pressure that time. Todd Cum was on the break, putting pressure on, and I think he simply just threw the football away because he knew that the pressure was coming, that he would not have a chance to deliver it properly, and simply threw the football away.
2:05 to play now. 3rd down, 16. The ball is inside the 30. They call it the 29. Ball is split wide left. The tight end is Hardick. 2 tight ends set. Kirk Johnson also in. Working the revert. Ball will take it. Has a couple of blockers. Cuevas across the 25. At the 24. Big hit by Lamont Gilchrist. Also over there, Phil Ellis.
Boy, it looked like it was going to go, but Lamont Gilchrist did what you need to do on the reverse play. You watch this play right here. You're going to see Lamont Gilchrist stay at home. Now watch. Ball's going to take it, come back to the left here, and at that point it looks like the play's going to go, but Lamont Gilchrist simply stayed at home, and then he squared up on the ball here. That's just a great job by number 84 from the north, and that's Lamont Gilchrist.
The unsung player on that reverse was John Atkinson, the middle linebacker. He had such great pursuit that he forced Reggie Ball towards the outside. 4th down, 11. The South will go. Johnson looking to the end zone. Kluber, touchdown. The 2nd time this ball game, the South has gone for it on 4th down, and the 2nd time results in a touchdown as well.
Kluber got himself, I should say, in that outside seam. Good drop by Johnson, simply looking right to the route, and Kluber able to get in that seam, that deep seam out there, and no help underneath. He had number 12, Brett Ehlers, beaten.
And Sean Mitchell.
From the north, and it's 6.
Sean Mitchell had broken up field to cover the outside, and Kluber broke towards the end zone, and Mitchell was just caught in no man's land. Gardner on for the PAT. It's up and good, and the South now with a 21-10 lead. 1:52 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, once again, for a guy that didn't really know much about the passing game, Gene Hunting and his Chargers have struck and hit pay dirt via the air lanes.
I'd hate to play poker with that guy. A lot of time was taken off the clock also on that drive. The North took the opening kickoff of the 2nd half. And then the South has quite simply held on to it and held on to it and kept going and going and going.
And held on to it. Should bring up here, Bill.
A couple of rabbits running down there.
There is a 10-point rule in this ball game, and that is that any team that's 10 points behind, even after it scores, can elect to receive the kickoff again. So that's a factor right here, right now. It's 21-10. So
and speaking of kickoffs, Gilchrist takes it at the 10, across the 20. Trying to get outside, spun around, some open field. He's got blockers all over, head knocked down. Tripped up at the last moment. It looked like Terrence Jackson or Brandon Cool. Cool number 13, Jackson 19. It was Brandon Cool of Aurora that may have saved the touchdown.
Did indeed, because he had a bevy of blockers out front here. Now watch Gilchrist. He's going to try to come back to the middle and take it out to the left. Sees it's all blocked up, nowhere to go. Going to put a good move on right about there. That's number 45, Clay Kluber. Touchdown, received that touchdown pass, but good job by Gilchrist to run it back.
And good field position. Terrell Rose takes the handoff, had some room to run, but was tripped up. He'll pick up 4. It'll be 2nd down. The clock ticks down now. 1:15 to play in quarter number 3. Terrell Rose mentioned in the first half, 87 yards rushing, getting close to that 100-yard mark. 2nd down 7 from the South 41-yard line. Buckner splits out wide left. Grigard in the slot to the right. goes out. He's looking for Buckner. May have to keep it himself. He does. Takes on Chad Young and is run out at the 31.
And once again, Tony Veland shows that he can take a hit. Good pursuit that time by George Neal. And Frosty Anderson has someone down on the sidelines. Frosty.
This is Lamont Gilchrist. Great run, nice spark for your team after that long drive by the white team.
Thank you. It was pretty much good blocking, and I broke one tackle, and after that it's just blocking. I just followed my blocking.
Now they've been throwing your way a lot. You've been holding them down a little bit, but they've been getting some success too. Do you think they're coming your way?
Well, not actually picking on me, but they splitting ball out, and I can't cover run support because they know I can cover run support. And I can't get under there and play ball at the same time. And we made an adjustment at halftime to see how that works.
Great job.
First down and 10, the pass complete to Gregor. He'll have another first down. He's run out of bounds at the 18-yard line. So back comes the North team.
I tell you what, that's a great pass by Tony Veland. He's going to throw it on the out route right here, and the ball is right there. I mean, it is perfect. Look at that. He doesn't break stride one bit. Gregor able to continue to go upfield, but Tony Veland right on the mark.
Looked like that may have been Wyatt Lunenborg who ran him out of bounds. First down and 10, South 21, North 10, but driving. 35 seconds to play in quarter number 3. Quick drop. Complete. Terrell Rose knocked back. He'll lose yards. Good secondary coverage by the South team all game long so far. They just have not been able to get anybody open downfield, and there is a lot of speed in that receiving corps for the North.
You bet. They wanted to get speed. They knew that they're going to have a tough job on offense, playing against a tough South squad defense. So they wanted to recruit that speed, and they got that speed. And overall, offensively and defensively, they have great team speed. But that time, South squad just simply able to smell out the play and shut it down.
Trips to the left for Veland. Second down and 12. The ball is at the South 20. Mayberry the lone setback. And Veland will improv again to the 15. Brandon Bender, you saw him a moment ago, made the tackle.
Once again, that South squad secondary doing a marvelous job back there covering the receivers. 4 people out on the route, everybody well covered. We were trying to go inside, hit that little spot pass to the inside, and it was perfectly covered by the secondary. So Veland had no choice but to head upfield, which he does so well.
I tell you, with Tony Veland and Lamont Gilchrist, it's been an afternoon at the Improv for the North team. We've concluded 3 quarters here at the 33rd Annual Shrine Bowl. The South on top 21-10 over the North. We'll have more after this on Nebraska Public Television. Adrian Fiala back at Memorial Stadium. We're kicking off football here in Lincoln for 1991. The 33rd Annual Nebraska Shrine Bowl Classic has come down to 1 quarter. 12 minutes of play to go here. 21-10 is our score. The South on top of the North in a very entertaining ball game, and the North is on the move. They'll have it 3rd down and 7. The ball is at the South 15-yard line. Tony Veland engineering this drive. Terrell Rose is the I-back. And again to the air. To the end zone looking for Buckner, and he overthrows him. That'll make it 4th down, and walking onto the field very confidently is Brian Rue of Creighton Prep. Jeremy Buckner tried to get to the outside, beating the defender Casey Head. He had him beat, but the throw just over his head.
To give Rue another chance here. Looks like it'll be spotted at about the 22-yard line, make it a 32-yard field goal. Easily within his range.
He had a 43-yarder to close out the first half. Blaine Rump will be the holder, but a timeout is called by the North. Again, those specialty teams just a little bit out of sync in this all-star game.
Been some great names in this football game over the years. Probably one of the best known back in 1961. Gale Sayers played. Moving on to the Chicago Bears, to the Football Hall of Fame. Kent McLuhan also. He moved on to play with the Oakland Raiders, a sterling and great career. And one Bobby Williams. Those three people probably the three fastest high school track people and football people that have graced the fields of Nebraska. But some great talent back in that day.
Here's a segue. Speaking of great talent, I need to give a special thanks to Riley Jane Hamilton of the Lincoln Journal-Star, the prep sports editor, and all-star in any category. She helped us out quite a bit in preparing for this game.
I think
she does an outstanding job every year.
She and Kenny put the press guide together, as we know.
So our thanks to those guys and to everybody connected with the Shrine Bowl that helped us out, especially Executive Director Glenn Wagner. 4th down and 7. The ball will be spotted on the field goal attempt by Rue at the 22, a 32-yard attempt. Kick is up and no good. So an outstanding drive by Tony Veland and his North teammates is all for naught. And the 11-point lead of the South stands.
Interesting to see what happens here now. They're 10 points behind. Maybe the rule doesn't cover missed field goals, huh?
Take a mulligan on that field goal attempt and they might have a better opportunity.
10 points behind if you score, and since they did not score, the ball goes over.
Jason Cahill is the new quarterback. He played quarter number 2 for the South. Two-time Papillion team MVP, again the Nebraska back of the year last season. He's on his way to the University of Nebraska at Omaha. And he'll go to the air. Underthrows Reggie Ball, intercepted by Lamont Gilchrist. A big break for the North. To the 15, down to the 13-yard line.
You heard Lamont about picking on him. Well, he just picked back right there. He picked it off and returned it. And just put his ball club right in the throes of a scoring position, a great scoring position. And the ball just a bit underthrown, and trying to hit Reggie Ball, streaking down the east sideline. See it right here, and Cahill's going to underthrow it. And Gilchrist is going to be there to pick it off. There you see underthrown by about 5 yards. And now Lamont's looking for pay dirt. He's not going to quite get there, but boy, he's given his team a big lift right here.
1st down and 10. Blaine Rump now from Fremont Bergen is the quarterback. Rose, the I-back, hit hard. Tom Cornish, the middle linebacker. We've called his name all afternoon long.
Tom Cornish just put the ball carrier's hat right in the creek on that hit. My goodness.
Go back to that line a couple of years ago at the West Nebraska All-Star game. You can't blitz in these games, but we've got some linebackers that can speed read.
They read real quick.
Loss of 2 for Rose. He's been hovering around that 100-yard mark rushing, but he's lost a couple of times here in the half. 2nd down and 12. The ball is at the 15. Rump rolls out. He'll have to take it himself. Nobody home to throw it to. He's run out of bounds by Adam Schultz.
Well, once again, he got outside the opposite color, and usually when that occurs, you're instructed to take it up and go. You see Rump right here. He's looking to throw, but good coverage downfield. So then just turn it up and go, Blaine, and that's what he does. And then he pays the price right there. That's number 41, Adam Schultz. He's out of Kearney.
Pickup of 5 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 10. 21-10 the score. The South on top of the North. The North trying to take advantage of an interception. And that's not the way to do it. We've got motion on the offensive line. Chris Colts, the right tackle, may have moved.
That'll move it back 5 yards. In case you're wondering, as far as yards rushing, the record for the Shrine Bowl, 159 yards, 30 carries by Monty Anthony. He played, of course, at Bellevue South, or Bellevue, that is, for the South Squad in 1974, and then on to Nebraska for a great career at the University of Nebraska. But Monty Anthony, 159 yards on 30 carries.
Anthony, a good career in the 70s. There are 5 athletes with scholarships to the University of Nebraska on this field today. Phil Ellis among them. Buster Johnson, Tony Veland as well.
Tom Steer and Steve Ott.
Third down and 12, rolling out, trying to hit Gregor. Incomplete is the signal. He juggled the ball quite a bit. He was short of the first down.
I thought he was going to put the argument on there as far as the catch goes. If it would have indeed been ruled a catch, well, we'll get a fairly good look at it right here.
Looked like he caught the ball.
Yeah, I would say he did, and Rupp's going to put it out there. It's a good hand-to-hand battle out here right now. Now let's watch it. Gregor, there's balls bouncing right there. Well, we don't see what happened on the opposite side, but looks to me like it might have been a good catch.
It would have been short of the first down by about 3 yards, and what that does is bring up a 4th down and 12 situation from the 15, and Brian Rue, who missed his earlier attempt from the same distance, 32 yards, will try it again, so he gets his mulligan. This one is up, and this one is good. So the North takes advantage of the break, the interception by Lamont Gilchrist, but they can't put the ball in the end zone, but they do get 3 out of it, and they close that lead 21-13.
You don't want to give that guy another chance from the same spot, because he'd probably kick that one blind, Bill. Good job by Brian Rue.
10:25 to play in the fourth quarter. The South trying to change history. They've lost 5 of the last 7 contests, including last year.
Brian Rue has just tied the record, the Shrine Bowl record for most field goals. Dave Boda, old adversary of mine back in the 60s, played at Creighton Prep. He had 2 in 1964, and Brian has just tied that record. Probably break it if he gets they get it inside the 30-yard line. He'll probably break.
Rue is on to kick off. Steer and Wynn are back deep. Steer at the top of the screen. From Crete, Wynn out of Boys Town. Both headed to Division I in a couple of weeks to start their collegiate careers. Wynn headed to the University of Wyoming. Brian Rue will kick off. Goes through his ritual. Has his mark, and we're ready to go.
Come bring that one back.
Well, whether you got that rule for bringing the ball out of the end zone or not, I don't think anybody in their right mind would return to kick that deep. So the South will have it 1st down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Jason Cahill, who came in on the last drive and promptly put his first attempt of the second half into the arms of Lamont Gilchrist. Frosty Anderson is down with South coach Gene Hunting. Let's see what's brewing for the South.
Okay, Gene, what do you got on here?
I forgot. I'm getting a little conservative here. We're going to just run a dive play here and see if we can't get out of the hole. And we didn't get very many yards there, so got terrible field position. Let's go pro right 21 draw.
Okay, who gets it this time?
This is a tailback and a draw action. The quarterback will drop back like he's going to throw the ball and hand the ball off. We're supposed to get a trap in here with our lineman back to the left side. I don't know if he'll make it or not.
We'll see.
Darrell Wynn is the I-back.
Tackle, 2nd down, 7. The ball's on the 23.
Wynn takes a 20 across the 25. Needs to get to the 30 for the 1st down. Let's go back down to Gene and Frosty.
Let's go pro right 27 counter sweep. Play starts off like it's going to be an ISO action to the right side, and we counter back to the left side with our right guard and right tackle pulling. We're going to run it back to the weak side. We've had some success with it, but they've kind of caught on to what we're doing, so they've stopped the last couple times. We'll see what happens.
The play Mike Rozier made famous?
Well, we'll see if Wynn can make it famous here. Doesn't start off that way. He'll lose yards. Going to the backfield. It looked like Paul Hawley, the defensive tackle, came in and tripped up Wynn. There was a little exchange problem between Cahill and Wynn. The resulting loss in yardage makes it 4th down and 5. The ball is at the 25. And Clay Kluver is on to punt. Buckner goes back, as does Gilchrist. Buckner, the deep man. Paul Hawley there on your screen out of Millard North will walk on to Nebraska this year and then receive a scholarship in 1992. Good snap, good kick. High spiraling punt. Buckner signals for a fair catch, dropped the ball. It'll be first down and 10 at the 29.
Coach Hunting told us about Kluber's ability to kick the football, and he was booming it all week, or the last couple of weeks in practice. And there you saw an example of what he was talking about, just a beautiful high arching spiral that Buckner fielded about the 30, and then it slipped out of his hands. And boy, that got Bill, that got the South team out of a hole real quick.
Tony Veland is back in at quarterback. Terrell Rose is the I-back. Langley, Kyle Langley out of Sydney, is the fullback. Gregert is in the Maryland I. And Veland will throw. Merritt Nelson, the receiver, in the pattern. Nice catch. If this is Canadian ball, we've got a first down. It's not, and it's second down and 10.
Tony got all of that one that time. Did not underthrow the football at all.
Let's go down to Frosty on the north sideline.
53, 2 drag.
Okay, left trips. What do you got on here, Joe?
It's trips receiver away from the call, and we're going to drag the slot back across the middle.
And try and hit the underman? Okay.
We shall see. Second down and 10. The ball is at the 29. He wasn't lying. Trips to the right. Rose, Gregert, and Buckner to the right side split out. Haggett on the tight end is split left. Langley, the fullback, in motion now. And here goes Veland again. A lot of room to run across the 40 to the 45. Casey Head of Geneva with a big stick. Veland pops up. Let's go back down to Frosty.
Southeast, Tom. Okay, where's my man? Who's there? Okay. All right. Give me an ace quarterback draw. Ace quarterback draw.
This was the touchdown play from before?
Yes.
Interesting call with that call going to Veland's number one more time after that real long run. And now Tony's going to be called upon once more to run the football. Let's see what happens.
Double split left and right. First and 10. Amanda watches Veland. A good size hole across the 50. Another first down. Fighting his way across the 30-yard line. Tony Veland of Omaha Benson.
Right now it's the Tony Veland show. It's been going on for about the last 4 minutes in this series. We saw what he could do earlier on. Not only a great football player, but as I mentioned earlier, a great student, member of the National Honor Society. Also won the Beta Chi Academic Excellence Award and also the African American Academic Achievement Award. So Tony Veland is nothing but class and quality.
He'll be an engineering major at Nebraska. He spent his summer working as an engineer's assistant in Omaha. 7 minutes now on this one. To give us to Terrell Rose. Nice move across the 20 to the 15. Pushed back. Brandon Bender finally pushed him back.
Casey Head made the hit. He did indeed get the head stuck right on the numbers. Number 27 for the South squad. Watch your screen right here. Right up inside. Boom, right there. That's a good tackle. Casey Head, 5'8", 175, and he just forgot about that and put his head right on the numbers of the ball carrier.
Terrell Rose again nearing that 100-yard mark rushing. First and 10, 6:41 to play in the game. 21-13 our score. The South on top and the North driving once again. The pitch to Rose. This play strong out coming up. The defensive end, it looked like.
Number 29, Dave Fair, headed to Northern Colorado this year. He came up and made the stick. That was a long count that time by the North squad. They varied that cadence, trying to see what they could do up front there. Maybe pull that South team off sides, but wasn't to be. They went on the 3 count that time. Normally they've been going on the first sound or the first sound the quarterback made or the first number called.
Inside 6 minutes now. Second down 11. The ball is at the South 18. Gregert and Buckner split out. To Rose. Again struck out. Just no blocking up front.
Tackle by 93.
Bill Tupper, the defensive end from Pawnee City.
And that time again, Casey had, or check it, Dave Fair had a big part of that play, even though he wasn't in on the tackle. He came up, stuffed the inside, forced the ball carrier right out in the arms of Tupper.
Ochek's been using his split ends to call the plays, running them in and out. I keep waiting for Frosty Anderson to run in there with the play.
Get your pads on, Frost.
5 minutes to play, 3rd down, 13. Rose again on the draw and nowhere to go. That South defense just gets tougher and tougher the closer the North gets to the goal line.
Put on a big stand earlier on in this 4th quarter. They're doing it again right here on that counter trap right there. Very, very little game. It'll make it 4th and about, well, we'll wait for the measurement here.
Tony Veland, it's been an afternoon at the Improv, like I said, 170 yards rushing. Has just set a new Shrine Bowl record. So Monty Anthony's record held for several years until that man came along, Tony Veland. I think he's putting on an audition here for the folks here at Memorial Stadium. You'll see a lot of him in the years to come. Brian Rue set to attempt a field goal of 35 yards. This one is up and no good, wide to the right. So Brian Rue has made 2 and missed 2 in this one.
Missed his attempt also to set a new record, as we talked about a moment ago, 2 being the most field goals. He has tied that record, but it just he hit that one just right, but he hit it strong, but just a little bit too far right.
The score remains South 21, the North 13, 4:19 left. The South will take over, 1st down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. There's a man that's been in a battle. Just an afternoon at the office. That's the center for the South, Jamie Anderson, out of Arlington. The eye back is Dave Fair. Tripped up at the 20, falls forward for a yard, call it 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Brian Rue down there sitting on his helmet right now. Maybe we'll get a shot of him, I don't know, but he just simply can't believe that he missed those field goals. Here you see the play one more time.
Check that.
Right up into the middle.
That's still Darrell Wynn in the ball game. 2nd down, 8 at the 22. The up man is Tom Steer. He'll take it to the 25. It'll be 3rd down, and Gene Hunting said he was going to get conservative, and that's a shot of Brian Rue right there.
I was talking about right there, and he's simply beside himself. He can't believe it, because anywhere from 40 yards, 40, 45 yards is his range, and he's missed a couple of chip shots for him. And he's simply over there trying to collect himself and get it back together. Tough day at the office for him right now.
On his way to the University of Nebraska at Omaha. He won't be hanging his head very much up there, I'm sure. 3rd down and 5. Cahill, quick pass to Ball. Ball needs to get to the 30 for the 1st down. He does not do it. And the North will have another chance offensively.
Mike Horacek on the hit out there. Good job by Michael that time to knock Ball down. Because Ball can fool you. He can give you that leg, give you that hip, and then turn it on and go. But Horacek would have none of that. Horacek, no slouch in the speed category himself. He runs 4.49.
An 8-point lead for the South. A chance to tie here for the North squad. Kluver in to punt. Buckner, the speedster, is back deep to receive. The up man is Lamont Gilchrist. And a timeout has been called. Another timeout called on one of the kicking plays. Fourth down and 1. The ball is at the 29. We've seen Blaine Rump and Tony Veland both guiding this North offense in the 2nd half. Veland came on, took him to a near field goal situation, as has Rump. So a chance to tie here if they go for a touchdown. They should have good field position.
Both teams have moved the ball rather well, but when it really counted, both defenses were able to rise up and stop the offense, and that's what's happened here in the 4th quarter. We've had this 21-13 margin here. Rue hit the field goal, the 23-yard field goal earlier on. But both defenses have played very, very well here in the 2nd half, and that's what each of the coaches talked about, is we need good defense in the 2nd half.
Let's go down to Frosty Anderson on the sidelines. Frosty?
Brad Satsko took a shot in the 1st half. How's the leg look? Pretty good right now. I got going to the doctor Monday to find out more about it. They said right now they can't tell what's wrong with it right now. They said there's no broken bones or nothing in it yet. And you're moving around okay? The pain's okay? Bearable? No, there's still pain in it. I'll find out Monday for sure what it was. Team's making a big comeback here. I hope we win this.
Well, our congratulations to Brad Zatko for being selected to play in this All-Star game. He was injured earlier in the first half.
Did a great job in that first half, too.
4th down and 1 out of the timeout. Bad snap, dropped by Kluber, gets the punt away, and it's a bad one. Bouncing back, it'll go out of bounds, and the North will have a first down at the South 34-yard line. 3 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the game.
One of the things that Joe Vocek talked about earlier was that kicking game, as we discussed earlier, and he had his people work on that kicking game all week and work on specifically what happened there, and that is the bad snap, and the South squad not able to get that snap off away as it should be done. And so now the North team has great field position. They got plenty of time to move the ball in, especially with one Tony Veland running the offense.
I was going to say, a great man to have behind the center. Veland is the quarterback, 1st and 10 at the 35. Looking to keep it himself, he'll do it. Slips inside one tackler, brought down by George Neal, the defensive tackle, but not until after he picks up 6. Clock continues to run. The scoreboard shows the North with 1 timeout. Reggie Ball today for the South, a Shrine Bowl record 8 receptions, including 1 for a touchdown, that in the first half. So we've seen some offensive fireworks with 2 coaches that like to run the football and play conservatively. 2nd down and 3 from the 28. Rose, the I-back across the 25, near the 20. He'll have the first down, and the clock will stop. Tom Cornish, the middle linebacker, has been all over the field and was in on that play as well. Coming in with the play was the split-in Merritt Nelson.
One more time, you see Rose breaking the tackle at the line of scrimmage and then works his own way up, a little extra activity ahead of the ball.
2:15 now and ticking. Rose again. Stopped at the line of scrimmage and finally drugged down from behind.
Wyatt Lunenburg on the tackle.
Terrell Rose, we saw Tony Veland with 170 yards rushing on his own. Picked up a couple more in the previous play. Terrell Rose has to be nearing or over that 100-yard mark as well.
2nd down, 4.
It'll be 2nd down, 4 yards to go. The ball is just outside the South 16-yard line. 21-13 our score, 1.5 minutes to play. 4 receivers in the pattern. Mayberry, the lone setback. It's complete to Rose. Quick step inside, knocked down at the 6. Kevin Fleece of Hershey finally knocked Rose down. We've seen some great footwork by these guys on a wet surf. Reggie Ball for the South, Terrell Rose, Tony Veland. These guys are great athletes.
All very, very talented, as we talked about at the top of the show. See it one more time right here. And Veland's going to put it out there. Good grab, good fingertip grab by Rose. And now go to the inside. That's 2 people that he was able to avoid.
1 minute 24 to play. The North has called timeout. The scoreboard shows neither team with a timeout left. It will be 1st down and goal. The ball will be at the 6-yard line. The story of the second half has been the ability of Tony Veland to move the North offense, but then the toughness of the South defense when the ball gets deep in their own territory.
As Gene Hunting said at halftime, the defense needed to get tougher, and that's exactly what they did. He liked his defensive strength coming into this ball game, and it has unveiled itself here in the second half.
Now you go back to the 2 missed field goals by Brian Rue. A couple of chip shots. If he makes those, right now we're looking at a 21-19 ball game, and a field goal will win this. Instead, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion will tie. Here we go. 1st and goal to 6. Nelson is open in the end zone. The pass, got it, touchdown.
Tony Veland once again, we talked about him threading the needle on the run. Well, he just did the same thing with the throw. Up to the top of your screen here. Defender is there, but Tony just puts it in there. Watch this. Doesn't need much in the way of explanation. Bingo, he's in there. That's Merritt Nelson on the touchdown grab.
Brandon Kuhl was the defensive back, tried to get back there in time, but a beautiful touch pass from Veland.
And now it all boils down to the two-point play. Gene Hunting's going to come out, and is that Gene or is that not Gene? That's Joe Vocek in the offensive huddle, but Gene Hunting, I think.
That's Lou Varley coming out to talk to his defensive troops. 21-19 to score, a minute 19 to play. They'll go for two. They'll try for the tie. Okay, let's look ahead a couple of minutes. You've got a 2-point lead. If this is unsuccessful, you've got Brian Rue on the sidelines. You go for the onside kick, the North gets the ball, and you've got a guy who has missed 2 field goals, a chance to win the game.
I tell you what, you give him another shot at it, I think he's going to drill it. So I'd think about doing that.
But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day.
Okay, Don Meredith. Rue wants another shot at it. I know he does. He's a competitor.
He's down there strapped up there at the 45-yard line. He's just waiting to get back in there.
Bet.
Vocek trots off the field. The play is called. Veland is the quarterback. The 2-point conversion. Mayberry, the lone setback. Gilchrist is the wingback. Veland rolling out. They're going to let Veland try and do it himself. Short. No good.
Well, you expected Tony Veland to be the player to run with the football. He's done it all afternoon. South team defense knew that also. And they were able just to string that play out. Take a look right here.
Darrell Morrow, the defensive end, was there.
Probably everybody in that ball club knowing what's going to happen. That's Tony Veland's going to try and do it. 87 makes the initial hit, Darrell Morrow. And then number 51, Brandon Bender, was over there also to help out. But they just simply able to string the play out to the left and hope that pursuit will do the job to the inside, and that's what happened.
Also credit Wyatt Lunenborg. A whole lot of hitting going on at the goal line. 21-19 the score.
Still got to expect perhaps the onside or some other special kind of play.
Well, everybody out there is number 20, 30, 80, or 90, so you've got a lot of receivers.
Hands.
The linemen are out of this one. This is a backs and receivers battle here. We've got Cluster Johnson, Brandon Kuhl, a quarterback, the tight end Kurt Johnson, Reggie Ball up for the South team in that first line, and several running backs and receivers for the North on the kickoff team. So an onside kick here, a minute 19 to play. Rue will kick it off. It has to go 10 unless it's touched by the South. Steer and Wynn keep moving up. There it goes. And it's picked up by, looked like Jeremy Gardner. A wide receiver for the South has his hands on it. And he does. So the littlest guy on the field makes the biggest play of the day, taking the onside kick. And now the South with a 21-19 lead and a minute 18 to play can run the clock out.
They said that Jeremy Gardner was tough and that he had great hands. We just saw it right there. He just smothered the football, hung on to it. He got hit pretty hard while he was on the ground, but he did not cough it up. So Jeremy Gardner, all 135 pounds of him wrapped around the pig.
Cahill just steps back, kneels down. We're at a minute to play now. Received word that the most valuable players in this game, defensively, Lamont Gilchrist of Omaha North. And for the offense, Tony Veland, surprise, surprise, is the offensive player of the game. 40 seconds, 35 now and counting. Fourth quarter, the South on top, 21-19. And a little extracurricular going on. That's a little useless there. Paul Hawley shoving back the center. I think that's Jamie Anderson, and it is Jamie Anderson, the center. The clock winds down, 12 seconds now, 10 seconds to play, and there won't be another snap in the 33rd annual Nebraska Shrine Bowl. The South, losers of 5 of the last 7 games, come back in a very, very good football game. They win it 21-19. We'll have more from Memorial Stadium. The final score again, 21-19. We'll be back with more after this.